Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am back with another video. You know what you got to do, folks. Rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so it'll let you know when my next video or live stream goes down. Follow me on Twitter if you like. I don't tweet as much, but when I do tweet, it's thoughtful and it's very informational, okay? Now, with that being said, let's get into today's topic. And this is a topic nobody wants to touch with a 10-foot pole, okay? And before I get into this topic, I first like to state this for the record. I don't condone anything with Boogie Cousins, with DeMarcus Cousins. I don't condone what transpired between him and his ex-girlfriend. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I relate, I understand. I'm also not going to make excuses, talk about, well, they were in the heat of the moment. Obviously, if you paid attention to the video, they were in an argument. And I do think he was tilted. I do think he got triggered because she knew if you paid attention to the video, she knew exactly how to get him upset, which was he wanted his son at his wedding. She did not want him to do, she was not concurring that, she was not allowing that to happen, basically going back and forth. And you know, the proper thing to do, fellas, when you're in a situation like that and you are dealing with your ex, and women can take this, women can use this knowledge as well, and you know that, you know, y'all have a very toxic relationship, and you know, trying to be the bigger person with a person that you know for a fact that y'all came from a toxic relationship. The best thing to do is go through the proper channels, which is go to the court system, make sure that, and this goes for male and females, make sure that your rights are honored when it comes to custody rights with your kids and things of that nature, because ultimately you're going to still have to deal with this person for like the next 20 years. In reality, you're going to deal with this person a lot longer than that. Okay, so what happened and what transpired was Boogie Cousins wanted his son at his wedding, basically talking to the girl, and obviously she recorded it because she knew what buttons to push with Boogie Cousins, and I'm not excusing that. Okay, I think men or women, if you know for a fact that you have thin skin, if you know for the fact that it only takes it only takes a certain look or a certain word to get you triggered, then you need to check your surroundings. You need to be mindful of that fact, because before you say something that you're going to end up regretting. A lot of people are saying, well, when you hear the audio, Boogie Cousins said, if you're not going to allow me to see my son, then I'm going to shoot you in the head. Okay? Which, even if you was in the heat of the moment, if you're mad, and a lot of people say, well, he's not going to actually shoot her in the head. And, he was just literally saying that. It's no different if you tell your child to do something and they didn't do it. And how many times people have said, I'm going to kill you. They're not literally going to kill their child, okay? People will say, well, they're not going to literally kill their child, but you still have to watch what you say, because people will perceive it exactly that way. And that's why so many people get caught up when they say something or do something in its own video, or they record the audio, okay? You trap yourself into what you said and what you did, okay? Ultimately, it's Boogie Cousins. Ultimately, he should have been mature enough to realize and to understand that and maybe seek out help or whatever, how to channel his anger. Okay, obviously he was mad for the fact that she was not allowing their son to come to his wedding. Okay, so I'm not promoting the fact that what Boogie Cousin did was fine. I disagree on how Boogie Cousins, you know, how Boogie Cousins perceive this way moving forward. I mean, in that altercation, I'm not endorsing that, nor I'm endorsing that it's okay to provoke people, to troll people, provoke people, and how to provoke them, how to trigger them and things like that. I feel like that's a trap itself, but at the same time, because it should have been mature enough to understand and realize that when you dealing with somebody who obviously y'all fell off, y'all don't have a relationship, obviously you can tell through the conversations and through a lot of stories that it's a very toxic relationship. Okay, so an arrest warrant was issued for Boogie Cousins for domestic violence, and I'm not going to get into all the legal proceedings after moving forward after this. At the end of the day, is the girl going to really press charges moving forward? Probably so, because she has issues with him anyway. Okay, and who knows? Boogie Cousins probably have done other things in the past to this ex. All right, so we have to wait and see how the other shoe drops on as far as moving forward with the domestic violence charges. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe his rights as a father, his custody rights with his child, maybe that will hurt him moving forward if he wants full custody. Obviously they're not going to give him full custody of the child. Okay, I feel like it's going to be a situation where both of them are going to be monitored for the best interest of the child. Okay, because obviously the child is being brought up in an environment where it's not conducive of an average family. Okay, and obviously they're going to be supervised, Boogie Cousins and this other lady. Okay, so and I feel like they're going to supervise both of them, because I feel like at this point, at this juncture, they're not doing what's best for the child. Okay, and I don't think and I'm not basing it on the incident that we're talking about. If the child is being brought up in a healthy setting, with when you talk about the young lady and Boogie Cousins, okay, DeMarcus Cousins. But moving forward, I feel like Boogie Cousins, and I'm only going to talk about the athlete Boogie Cousins, not the person, not the personality, but Boogie Cousins' career, what little career he's going to have in the NBA. I feel like, Boogie Cousins had burnt a lot of bridges in the NBA, and it started in Sacramento. He left Sacramento not on friendly terms. I think the only time, and he started rehabilitating his career in the NBA when he went to New Orleans. He went to New Orleans. Then he bolted New Orleans and went to the Golden State Warriors, where he should have just signed a long-term contract with New Orleans. He took a risk. He took a gamble. He wanted to chase the ring, so he went to the Golden State Warriors. They did not win the ring. He ended up injured himself, which made him sort of quote-unquote damaged goods in free agency, and he signed a minimum contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. So Boogie Cousins have just pretty much, when you talk about his money, he left a lot of money on the table to try to pursue that ring, And now he's taking this 1 year contract with the Los Angeles Lakers in the hope of, proving to the NBA naysayers that he still has it, even though he's been injured. Okay. And now he got another setback. He's been injured again. And when you look at all this, it's not a good look for Boogie Cousins as far as him trying to get a big time contract next off season. Okay, because he really doesn't have a lot. In the NBA is what can you do for, what have you done for me lately? And I feel like the Golden State, when he was with the Golden State Warriors, he did a lot of good things with the Golden State Warriors, but just not enough there to prove without a shadow of a doubt should we give him a long-term contract. Okay, which probably next year he's going to have to take another 1 year contract with not a lot of money with not a lot of money. Okay, because nobody's not going to bid for him, but he'd be lucky to get that type of contract due to these recent how this ultimately gets out of the limelight and out of the eyes of the NBA. I feel like this is a death sentence to his career. People who really did not like Boogie Cousins, now they got more ammo to and I feel like it's going to be hard for Boogie Cousins to get a job in the NBA. Okay, it's hard enough coming back from the injury. It's really hard with these latest accusations. Okay, it's not a good look for him. It would not surprise me none if Boogie Cousins does not get another offer from another team of several reasons. One, he's been injured. Okay, he's been consistently injured, meaning he's not that very dependable. His body is wearing down, breaking down. Okay, and he's still young. Okay, he's fairly young. Okay, to the relationships that he pretty much burnt bridges on a lot of relationships, most notably the Sacramento Kings organization, and a lot of those people in that office have a lot of influences with other teams in the NBA. Okay. Three, this accusation really does not put him in the best light. If they can quickly come to a conclusion, to a resolution to these accusations, where it's handled, it's taken care of, and just hope to God somebody else, and you don't want to hope to God for somebody else to screw up, but for something else for social media to talk about other than what's transpiring with DeMarcus Cousins. Four, big men are not a high commodity in the NBA. Okay, you really don't need a big man to win championships. Okay, those days are long. Even though Boogie Cousins, he's not like the traditional big man. Boogie Cousins, he can play 3, 4, and the 5. He's really positioned as the 5, but his athleticism and his skill set makes him float around the floor a lot more. Okay, so there's not a high commodity for that type of for a big man. A team would sign Boogie Cousins because of his skill set. Okay, and he's fairly young. Okay, so people will sign him, but I think it was going to be already a struggle for Boogie Cousins to get a long-term contract next year because he's injured again for the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, so as far as these recent accusations, if you only just separate everything and only talk about these recent accusations, I and like I said, I don't condone what he said. I don't understand why, and I understand, when you're in the heat of the moment, you say things you really don't mean. You're just mad at that particular time. I understand that. I'm quite aware of that. But you also have to understand, who are you communicating to? Who are you talking to? Okay. Obviously, you know, if you're not gonna sit up there and admit that y'all had a toxic relationship, you could at least understand that, this, by you saying something to somebody that y'all clearly do not have a relationship in, and clearly there's issues in your relationship, you should monitor what you say. I felt like, when you're dealing with that type of relationship, and this can be a male or female. I feel like, you should go to the proper legal channels, okay, to communicate with that person, okay. Obviously, just calling this person and ask, if you were stranded on a road, okay, and you had one phone call, and you have to call on somebody that you can depend on, that you know for a fact that can get you out of that predicament, you're not going to waste your one phone call on someone that you are at odds with, okay? You're going to, have enough common sense to understand calling that individual, you just wasted a phone call, because not only they're not going to come, they're not even going to, call anybody else to make sure that they can properly pick you up, okay? So Boogie Cousins should have been aware of that. He should have knew, that. But at the same time, I don't want to judge the young lady too crucial, or Boogie Cousins. It may be the simple fact that, even though they're old enough to have kids, they're old enough to drink, they're old enough to vote, they may not be old enough to handle things as an adult. Okay, even though if you look at their birth certificate and you look at them and say, hey, they old enough to do all these, some people, just because they're 25, their age is 25 or 30, that don't necessarily mean they're an adult. Their minds might be not developed enough to handle adult decisions, okay? And I'm not throwing no salt at Boogie Cousins, and I'm not throwing no salt at his ex-girlfriend, but obviously, there's some things going on between the two, and for him to make those threats, not being fully aware that of his surroundings, knowing that in the heat of the moment, you shouldn't, you should have been a better person, just hung up. If that's the best response you was going to give to her, it would have been best for you to just hang up, all right, and cooler heads prevail. And maybe if y'all have a situation where maybe you have to go to the proper legal system channels, okay, get the courts involved, and not just Boogie Cousins, that's not his responsibility, but it's also the responsibility of the wife as well, okay. So, and I'm not saying that they haven't done that, okay. What I am saying is, if you if you listen to the video and you also read a couple of articles about their relationship, it's a very toxic relationship, okay. So obviously, she was not going to respect your wishes as far as your son coming to your wedding, okay. And it's just one of those things. And like I said earlier in the live stream, this is going to be one more nail in the coffin for Boogie Cousins, and I really don't see, as far as his career in the NBA, this is going to be another excuse why people are not going to get. It's going to be hard as hell for him to find a contract. It was already going to be hard as hell for Boogie Cousins to find a contract, because he's been consistently injured. Okay, this is going to be another excuse why people are not going to give him a contract. It's going to be, life is going to be difficult for Boogie Cousins to get. And like I said earlier in the live stream, when he left New Orleans, he left a lot of money on the table. And if he would have had to do that over again, he would probably done things. He would definitely done things a lot differently, okay, and probably would have signed that long-term contract with New Orleans and did not leave that money on the table just to chase a ring with the Golden State Warriors. And Boogie Cousins has really rehabilitated his career, the perception of Boogie Cousins in the NBA, because I felt like a lot of people just could not let go of the situation with the relationship with I'm about to say San Antonio, San Diego. Shoot, I forgot the team that drafted Boogie Cousins. And I just mentioned the team's name earlier in the live stream. Can't even remember the team that originally drafted Boogie Cousins. But it'll come to me later. But he was getting fall back and blowback from that. Okay. So it's just one of those situations. I wish Boogie Cousins the best. I hope they resolve these issues, okay? But guys, you're gonna have to, and guys as well as women, you have to be careful of what you say and what you do, okay? Because people can perceive it as something serious or something that needs to be addressed, okay? Even though a lot of people say, well, he wasn't going to really shoot. He was just, he was just saying that he was going to shoot her. He wasn't going to really he wasn't going to really do that, okay? But at the same time, you can't be saying stuff like that. You just can't. Not in the society. And I don't think in any era of any part of any generation of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even the 50s, where you can say, I'm gonna shoot you in the head, okay? Like that would have been perceived okay. So I don't know, where in any type of world where this is acceptable, okay? And at the same time, you have to understand, you have to watch what you say, okay? And he could be a victim of that, or he could be a victim of, he really needs to talk to someone professionally on how to control his anger. On, instead of just saying whatever comes out of your mind, you have to have restraint. You have to fall back a little bit and just think for a second, okay? But still trying to remember the team that drafted Boogie Cousins. I hate that. Don't you hate when you have it on the tip of your tongue, but it's still locked up in your it's these mornings, it's these early mornings that get me this way. But yeah, so that's what's going on with Boogie Cousins. I hope everything works out well for Boogie Cousins. Sacramento Kings. Bam! I remembered it. Sacramento Kings is who drafted Boogie Cousins. All right. And real quick before I end this live stream, he was having issues establishing relationships in the NBA circle because of how things fell off between him and the Sacramento Kings. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of the Sacramento Kings front office have so many ties, so many relationships, so many influences with other teams. Okay? So that's who I was thinking about. And he just, got past that and he had a body of work, a small body of work to prove to the other NBA teams that, hey, look, I'm not that person that the Sacramento Kings are advertising to you. I'm a very dependable person. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make a team very successful, okay? Because he got traded to New Orleans, and he had an opportunity to sign a long-term contract with New Orleans, but he chose to leave the money on the table to chase a ring. And I felt like at that time he was young enough to just play through the New Orleans contract. Go ahead and get your money, big fella. Get your money, all right? And maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 years down the road, if New Orleans is not winning any championships or any chips, okay, then you go to the front office and say, hey, I want to trade. I want to go to a contending team. I want to be released out of my contract, whatever the case may be, Okay, but he left all that money on the table to chase a ring with the Golden State. Didn't work out for the Golden State Warriors. Now, in free agency, he was injured. So in free agency, nobody wasn't clamoring or demanding for Boogie Cousins. And then he ended up signing a contract with the Lakers, and the first scrimmage of summer practice with the Lakers, he injured himself again. Okay, so he's already got this report of not being consistently injury free. Okay. Now on top of this domestic violence situation, I feel like a lot of he's so radioactive hot right now. If he wasn't injured and he was still looking for a team, he would not be able to find a team. Okay. And people in NBA circles did not like Boogie Cousins, and they already hated him from the get-go, basically going back to, and they always point out the relationship between him and the Sacramento Kings in the front office. That's the first thing they point out. But now they're going to point this out as well and say, see, look, he's a very difficult person to deal with. Look at the Sacramento Kings history. Look at this domestic violence report, okay? So now they got enough ammunition, and I feel like Boogie Cousins, I think if he can get this situation resolved where, where this does not affect him publicly, and he can get this resolved quick, fast, and in a hurry. If this lingers, Boogie Cousins, we saw the last of Boogie Cousins with the Golden State Warriors. I don't think he has done enough to get another fifth chance. Okay, because he already had so many second chances. Okay, and he pretty much squandered them away. But it is what it is. I feel sorry for Boogie Cousins. I saw a lot of good things. If he wasn't injured with the Lakers, I saw a lot of different packages the Lakers could have utilized him with, okay, with Anthony Davis. And the chemistry that he had with Anthony Davis back in the days with New Orleans, okay, that was just icing on the cake. With Rondo, he played with Rondo, okay, he played with LeBron James, okay, and with Olympic basketball. So I could see different scenarios how they was going to utilize Boogie Cousins, okay? But man, it's sad to see, man. So that's all I got for today's live stream. I really do appreciate the people who actually came to the live stream. And you guys know the rundown. People really don't pay attention to my live streams until it's the re-air. Everybody starts watching the re-air of this live stream. I don't have a lot of people in the audience in the live stream, but I do gather a lot of people after the live stream. So can y'all do me a favor? Hit the like button. If y'all comment, I'm going to respond to your comments. I'm still 5 videos back from replying to comments about the death row thing. So I'm going to probably do that sometime today and respond to some of those comments as well. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I am out. Y'all have a blessful Friday, and we'll see y'all guys later. Peace.